Alright, let's see. Alright, going to jump into it. Today we're going to be going over some basic building in Valheim. Going to learn how to detail our base, build some walls, build some roofs, and we'll go over some simple stuff like that. Alright, so we are currently in the game, and let me get on my building hacks here. So do debug mode. Do we need anything else? Environment clear. I think we're looking pretty good. Okay, so let's take a look at some basic stuff. So just to start off with, we have a pretty basic looking structure here, just a house. It's a 5x5 with a door and a roof, and you can see that the roof comes to a cross up here. I don't like any of this, so we're going to learn how to make this look better. This is just a basic structure, and this is what most people, including myself, start building when they start playing Valheim. And today we're just going to learn how to make this look better, basically. So this is our basic foundation, our 5x5 foundation, right? Let's see what's going on here. Actually, let me type in the chat real quick just to make sure it's working. Okay. Yeah, so now we have this basic foundation. This is what we start off with usually. And the first thing that I like to do to make, I guess, anything look better is add some extra shapes. So if you're used to playing Minecraft or anything like that, adding extra shapes to your original shape is basically the first way to making something awesome. And an example of that is we took our 5x5, and this is the foundation that I just showed you, and we added some walls and an entryway and an extra little addition to the house. Now this is pretty basic. There's no windows, no detailing, but you can already tell that it's looking pretty nice. So if we go and take a look at our regular 5x5, we can tell this is how it started, but then we added some extra shapes, and this is where it's going. You can also see that our roof is not coming to a cross anymore, it's coming to a point instead. This is kind of an ugly roof, if I'm being honest, but I don't like the cross shape. It looks good for certain things that you're doing, but if we can get it to a point, that's good. And one way that we can do this, if we zoom in here, I just added an extra beam on the outside, a 1 meter beam to the outside, just so that it's overhanging the sides, and instead of 5 beams across, we now have 6. So it's an even amount of beams all going all the way across. But yeah, now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 layers of depth that we added just by adding some extra shapes and some extra beams. It's pretty nice. And for the second thing that we're doing here, we added some, I don't know, I guess you would call them beams to the outside of the house. So we'll go look at the foundation that we built for this shape. And that would be this one here. So we have our 5x5 structure, and then we just added 1 meter beam boxes to the outside corners. And that's what is going on here. We have this like extrusion from the box that we built on all 4 corners, and let's just build these up real quick. Yeah, so if we look at it from here, you can see that all we did was add these extra corners to the side, which is a really easy way to add depth. And then if you come in here, you can see that we have some 45-degree wood walls, and for the beginning this is all you really need. So, but just adding some basic windows and some basic depth, by doing that, we basically added a lot of detail to the base. And here's another example of adding beams to the outside, or that little box out that we did. And we have a banner in here, and here's like an example of if we started mixing the colors, like if we did ash wood mixed with regular wood and stuff like that. And then also an example of detailing our windows a little bit better. So that's basically just some basic things that we can do to the shape of the house to make it look a little bit better. And before we start building, we can go take a look at the roofs real quick. So we have basically our basic structured roof, which is what we had over there, with 5 beams across, and using 45-degree beams coming up, which makes the cross shape of the top, which again, it doesn't look bad, but I think that you can make it look better. And here's an example of doing the same thing, but instead we added an extra layer of beams on the outside, and then on the top here we rolled our beams out by 1 roll, or like 1 mouse roll to the back. That way we come to a peak at the top, and then a 1 meter beam out here. And just doing that little simple thing makes it look pretty good. And then here we have basically a barn style roof, I guess you would call it. So we have a 45-degree beam to start, and then 26s at the top, and then our peak, and then we have a I don't know, I guess if you're intersecting the shape that you have on the side, this is kind of what it would look like, and then a fireplace in the back. So yeah, that's basically it. I just wanted to show that before we started building, but we'll go find a spot to build. And then I was kind of thinking about doing a medieval style build today, so I might look up some pictures of a medieval style build, and then we'll kind of go through stuff. Here's the house that I built. that we built last time on stream. But we'll go find an area, get it flattened out, and then we can start building. We might even just do right down here, honestly. And for practicing, I like to use like infinity hammer, stuff like that, just so we can quickly manipulate the terrain. And that should be plenty of room to start a small house. And we'll just leave it grass for now, I think. I'm going to pull a quick reference real quick. I think we're gonna try to go medieval style today. And we'll do something pretty simple. Yeah, there we go. We'll just start with something simple. Okay. Sorry, boars. Alright, so we'll make some dirt paths around here. We'll just start with some dirt. Let's see, we're leveling the ground, we want dirt. Yes. And I kind of picked this spot so that we could face the sun, like our the face of our building is facing the sun. That way our detailing looks better when the build is done. I usually try to do that with my builds. I feel like that's a good rule of thumb too. That way if you're like coming home after some long traveling, that's the first thing you see is a pretty cool detailed base. So we have a pretty nice looking square there. If we need to do more, we can do more. Let's go to building. And we'll start off with a basic shape. I always like to start with the 5x5. Makes things really easy. And then I think we'll go, let's see, 1, 2. We'll go 3, so let's do some more. Let's do some more dirt here. We'll pathing some more of this out. And since I already have it leveled off, I'm just basically pathing it so that there's dirt instead of grass here. So we'll go 3 and 3, so we'll do a 3 by 3 at the end here and have it connect to the back. And I think we'll also do a, let's see, do we want to do one here? Yeah, I think we'll do an entryway here as well. We'll pathen this out a little bit. Alright, so this is kind of what I was talking about at the beginning. Like right away we just are setting our foundation with extra shapes so that it's easier to kind of see where you're going with the build. And you can pull up references and stuff like that to be able to do that, but this makes it really easy. Just do some squares to start off with, and then later you can do circles. So for now we'll just go 2 high, 2 beams high. And let's get rid of, we'll keep that one there. We'll keep that one there for now. We'll go 2 meters, or 2 beams high, so 4 meters high on the entryway as well. And we'll just add these here just for support. Alright, so now we're coming together here with a nice box shape. We are kind of high off of the water here, but that's fine. We'll make it work. So we can go ahead and box this out. And I think we have enough time tonight. I might do a few builds. I might start with something simple like what we're building now, and then we'll go a little bit more advanced after this one, I think. So we just added those 2 for support, and if we come over here and do 1 meter beams there and there, we can add the shape to our window here. Yeah, so we'll keep that there, and then we'll do 2 here and 2 back here. Alright, so we basically have our structure set out. It's looking pretty average right now. We just have an extra building coming out here and an entryway here. I think we'll come across with some beams here as well. And we're going to start off with our roof. So we'll do 1 back there, and we'll just place a 1 meter beam here as well. We'll do 1 here, and then we can come across like this. Looks goofy right now, but it'll come together. And we're also going to do 1 meter out by here. So now instead of 5 across, we're going to have 6 across. We'll do 2 here. There we go. And then we are also going to do, instead of 3 beams across here, we'll go 4, so 1 meter on each side. And then we will go, let's see, so we have 3. We can't do an extra beam here. Well, we could, but we're kind of going into the roof here, so we might just leave this like it is until we figure out what we're going to do with it. And we want a place for the fireplace, but that's going to go in the middle here. So now that we have our 1 meter beams sitting across there, we're gonna do that barn style roof. That's like one of my favorite style roofs to do. It looks really nice. So to do that, we start off with 45-degree beams on either side, and then we'll go 26 to finish it off. So then we have something looking like this, which is pretty nice. It looks pretty bland for now, but we're gonna add some detail later. So same thing back here, 45 degrees and 26 degrees to finish it off. And we might as well finish up the back as well. Alright, so you can kind of see what we're going for here. And so this is kind of a weird way that I like to do this, but we'll start off with a thatch roof, inner corner 45 degree, and we're just going to immediately place this where it's going to line up with the other roof pieces, and this is going to make it really easy for us to build this side of the roof. And instead of extruding this way, we're just going to go 1 beam this way. And actually we don't need these pieces because we want this roof to come out right here and not on these beams. So actually we'll just finish this part of the roof first. And I want this to be kind of even to what we're doing here, so do something like that, and then we'll do a 26-degree thatch roof at the top. There we go. Yeah, and then when we build the wall for this, sometimes you see let's see if we can find the pieces. Sometimes you see like somebody place it like this, but we want it to be on the inside of the wall. And let's see, we made a mistake, so we need to extrude this part too so that we're not coming up at a cross up here. And that's what I was talking about earlier, just coming up with extra beam on the sides, that way you don't have to worry about that. So that's an easy fix. We just need to add a beam here. That's just for learning purposes. That wasn't actually a mistake, it's just for learning purposes. So we'll do that there, and we're going to have to come out by 1 back here as well, which is not a big deal. So what we'll do to fix that weird looking stuff, we'll just move this roof back by 1 meter. And all this stuff, honestly, it just comes with practice. That's why I build in this mode a lot, so that when I do eventually come back to playing survival Valheim, you know, this stuff is just, it's practice, you know, it just comes naturally after you practice enough. So we'll go 45 and 26. There we go. Now we can add our beams here. And we still won't come across. We can break these. And then do our inverted corner right here. So I basically just did the same exact thing, except now when we come up with the 26-degree roof, we're not gonna have a problem with placing those walls. So now we should be able to use just a regular thatch roof 26 degree. Alright. That's much better. Place these wood walls. And again, we're just going to place them on the inside here. And for now, we're just going to do walls right here. We won't worry about windows or anything like that yet. Okay. Now we can finish up the roof. And we want 45 degrees. And we are going to notice something kind of funky in the middle once we get to the middle here. And that's just, there's going to be like a part in the middle where the foundation starts to fall apart. But that's okay. This design, it's going to be designed that way so that we can put a fireplace like directly in the middle of this base. And at least I hope. I don't, if I'm remembering how the height works in this game, but we'll see. If not, we'll figure something out. So I'm counting on either this one or one of these breaking. And if that's the case, we'll have to add some support, which is not that hard to do. And we will have to start using our snapping points now because this is going to get a little bit tricky. Oh, that's sticking out there. We don't want that. We might be able to use an inverted corner here. This might be weird though because there's a lot going on just in that little area. Yeah, so we could easily just place an inverted corner there, and that was a pretty easy fix. One thing that we are going to have to do though is bring these back by one so that there's not a gap in there. I mean, you could leave the gap, but I just think if you could fix stuff like that, it looks a little bit better. Yep, there we go. So we had that one break. So we should bring this 45-degree roof up here. That way we just have a little bit of extra support. There we go. Yeah, so I was kind of counting on one of these two breaking, but it doesn't look like that's the case, which is fine. But we should fix this gap back here. And to do that, we'll just place some 26-degree thatch roofs right here. It might look a little funky on the inside, but it's not that big of a deal. You see right here, it's not snapping. So I just like to get it as close as possible here. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just something like that. There is a little gap here. We'll try to fix that a little bit. There we go. That looks a little better. Okay. So now we can come across with our beams up top. Yep, see that one broke right there. Okay, so now we kind of know where our structure starts to not be so great. I don't know if we'll be able to place these yet, but once we get our walls put up, it should be a little bit better. We should make a place for our fireplace real quick before we go any further. And I think since these are not breaking, I was going to place it in the middle. And we have a window on the side here, so I think I'm just going to place it in the back. And since we're doing a beginner house or beginner starter house, we're just going to go the normal fireplace and not like the big stone one. So it just has to be 1 2-meter beam across. So we'll just place it right in the back. It doesn't look terrible. And then we'll just go pretty much straight up with these beams here. And here as well. And I think we'll just go 2 meters higher than the actual roof is set. So 1 beam. And then we can break these here. At least while we finish our fireplace out, and then we can fix it later. (26°). Actually, we'll place our walls down first. And at first it's going to look kind of bland, but we're going to detail it. Break that one, and then just box it out with 1 meter beams. And we'll leave these open. Nope, not that one. And usually for the fireplace, if we're doing it like this, I like to leave like a door's height of room to get in here. So I'll place 2 walls, and then I'll place just a half wall like that, and a half wall like this. Break that top one, and then just go up the rest of the way with the walls. Alright, so we're gonna have to figure out getting the roof situated here. And for this, I definitely just kind of wing it. Make sure that it's not clipping into the fireplace kind of deal. And then we can add our beams just like this here. You might have to use your snapping points a little bit. That's okay. And I don't really like that, so we're gonna fix that. We're just going to bring this fireplace back by 1 meter so we don't have to deal with all of the beams that are in the way. And another thing too is we brought this out by 1 meter, so the fireplace, when you do this, is kind of more of a pain. And I guess this can be like another learning experience thing, but yeah, if you're kind of extruding it out by 1 meter, it is probably best to do it somewhere that it's not. But in our case, we did it pretty much all around the house, including the back. So to fix this, we're probably gonna do something goofy. Okay, so let's put that roof back, and then we'll just take a look at it for a minute before we decide which way we're gonna go. I always struggle, this is like the part that I struggle with the most probably, is the fireplaces, because I spend a lot of time like detailing the roof and the walls, and I always forget about like where the fireplace is gonna go. I'm just trying to think of what we can do since we made this part come out, and I just don't want to deal with the roof. So what we could do is add an extra layer of wall right here, which this is going to be kind of cheesy, but it's a pretty easy fix for if you're struggling with something like this. So right away we'll just come up with some walls. And let's finish these walls out here so you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about. It's kind of fun doing live builds like this, honestly, because usually I'm used to doing like full edited videos, and usually I have a bunch of practice with like the house that I'm going to be building for that specific video. So it's fun building live and like making the mistakes that usually I make off camera kind of thing. So yeah, so basically what we're going to do is this part is not going to matter. It's just going to be boxed off. We don't have to have these walls up here, but our fireplace is going to be right here on the outside. Basically the same exact thing, except for it's going to come up right here instead of 1 meter in. And this is just a really easy way to get around with having to deal with messing with the roof all that much, especially if you bring them out by 1 meter like we did. And it doesn't look any worse, really. You can do a lot to be able to decorate that to where it doesn't look too bad. And we'll just come one up. Yeah, so from the front, that's actually looking pretty cool. I'm just gonna pause it and check my settings real quick on OBS. Okay, I think we're good here. Okay. Now we should be able to bring these up here with no problems. I usually hate this box look right here, honestly, but there's a lot of ways that we can make it look not so bad. But right now we're just getting the outline. So for the roof, I usually like, if I'm facing this way, it kind of depends on what I like, but usually I'll do it facing the opposite way of what the main roof's going. So I'll place it something like that. So when you're looking back here, the chimney roof is facing like the opposite way. And we'll just place the rest of these walls, and then we can start detailing, which is the fun part of building our base. Right away though, we'll go 1 meter back, and we'll place some floors right here. We can break this beam, place our door, and we'll do some stairs just like this, and then we can bring walls up on either side here, and this just adds an extra layer of depth to our build. And with these starter bases, like, there's only so much you can really do without adding a whole bunch of color and stuff like that, because you don't have like any of the ash wood, which once you unlock ash wood, that's when you can start making some really cool stuff. But yeah, we just basically place that in by 1 meter, and just so our stairs don't get rained on, we're gonna come up with 1 meter here, and we're gonna place, we'll finish off this roof real quick. We'll do 45s, 26, and then we can go 26 degrees right here. And now our beautiful entryway won't get rained on. You can already see this is coming together pretty nice. And this is just with start. You can do all of this with starting materials too, which is awesome. If you guys are watching right now, you should let me know what your favorite part about building in Valheim is. I'm trying to see if the chat is even working. I don't know if I set it up properly or not. I'm still really new to this live streaming thing, but I want to try to do it more often because I really like building on stream. I feel like it could be kind of fun if we could get it going a little bit. Place our walls here. Oh, we can do half walls up here. And then right here, we're just gonna follow, the roof here. But yeah, right now, it's actually not looking too bad. It's coming together quite nice. But like I said, after we do this build, I would like to do a little bit more of an advanced one using ashwood materials and stone. That way we can build something looking a little cleaner. Alright. There we go. The entryway, foundation wise, is pretty much done. We just have to detail it after we get the rest. We'll just place these walls up and then we'll start detailing. And I think we're gonna try to do a window in the middle here. So for that, let's see, we'll place half wall, and then come up with walls right here. Easy peasy. Oh, I don't know what that's doing there. So we want a window right there. And what else do we want? We'll do a window in the middle here as well. So half walls. Anywhere else we'll do, yeah, we'll just do windows. I don't know if we want any in the back because this is usually where I put storage. We'll just do designs back here with like outside designs. I don't think we'll do any windows in the back because if you put too many windows, you kind of screw yourself a little bit. Let's see. Sorry, I'm just checking on the settings here, making sure everything is good. Okay, I think we should be good. All right, so we already added our window here. I think that should be good for windows, honestly. We could put some, we're gonna have to design the front pretty good just because we built it a little tight. There's not really enough room to add windows, but that'll be okay. You don't want to like over detail, you know? I mean, it's nice to have details, but over detailing can be a problem as well. And I did mess up back here. We want to break these. And let's place that. That. And then we'll place the beams, just the beams, not the walls. This fireplace, man, it's gonna be the death of me today. Break that wall. There we go. We want the wall to be on the inside there, and we're going to have to take this one. I don't know, that looks a little funky. We'll break that one for now, and this one, we'll just do a 1 meter beam here, and there's already a 1 meter beam there. Okay, that's a lot better. And we just want the walls on the inside, because if you place the walls on the outside, it looks a little goofy. Man, it says I'm getting like chats on my OBS, but I can't see anything in here. I don't know what the heck's going on. Either that, or I just don't know how to use this stuff still, which is completely probably what's going on. Okay, we'll keep going. Sorry if you guys are saying something and I'm not seeing it. In my OBS it's showing there's like a chat rate going on, and I have no clue why it's not, if that's the case, why it's not popping up. But like I said, I'm really new to this stuff, so that is my bad. I will try to figure that out a little bit better once I do my next stream. But yeah, we want this wall to come out on the inside here. And it's just like I was saying earlier, it's kind of goofy if you put it like on the outside edge. It just makes it look weird. That's the simplest way that I could put it. Okay, so the only problem is you'll see this little gap here, but that should not be an issue because we can just build that up there and place a 1 meter beam. And you start to learn these kind of little tricks, like as you start going a little bit, you can use a lot of different things to like fill in gaps and stuff like that. There we go. That looks a lot better. It doesn't look as goofy anymore. Alright, so we have basically the basic foundation almost set. We have this wall to go. There we go. And basically we can start detailing now. Okay. So we have windows. I guess we can start with those. And I kind of want to do something to the front just because we don't have too much going on here. We kind of just have bland walls, right? So one thing that we can do to make that a little bit better is add our little beams, which we could add it to this side, but I think we'll add it coming straight forward. So these are little beams I was talking about. That way we can add a little bit more detail to the build. A little bit of depth to the entryway. There we go. And with the ash wood, once you unlock the ash wood, you can start building some cooler beams, because you can use like a mixture between regular wood and ash wood to make pretty cool colors. Alright, see? Yeah, that already looks way cooler. And I might try to figure out if we should do the same thing back here, but we can't really. We could add them right here. We have enough room back here to do it. But before we do anything like that, we will add some, let's see what the 45-degree inverts look like. If they're too long, then we'll add the 26s. That might be too big. Yeah, I don't really like that much. So we'll do the 26-degree beams. That was too much plain wood. I didn't like that. Yeah, that looks way better. And for the roof, it's kind of plain looking, so we'll add a peak to it. And for that, we'll just go to the corner here, press R, zoom, make sure we're zoomed in all the way. And we're gonna want to follow our beams just as closely as we can. And we're gonna add just a little bit. Yeah, see, that's a little off. We're gonna add a peak to this roof just so it looks a little better. It's okay if you're a little low. The thing that you should be worried about though is you see how that's offset. You want to make sure that that beam is basically placed like perfectly. That looks pretty good. You can see that I already added a little bit of depth, but we can go ahead and add a peak. And we will do what we were talking about basically at the beginning of the video. We'll just roll those by 1. You can change your snapping point to bottom, and it will snap in the correct place here. Then we can add a 1 meter beam right here. Easy money. We added that peak, looks pretty nice. And we could add a peak right here, but I feel like the only place that you should have a peak is on like the most outside edges. So what we'll do is we'll just follow the roof with the beams just to add that extra layer of depth, but we won't do the peak like we did there. We just want to make sure those are nice and even. It looks kind of off, but it doesn't have to be terribly perfect. Yeah, and from back here, that looks pretty cool. That looks pretty good. And just by adding that like extra layer of beams, it just adds like one more layer of depth that looks pretty good. So now we can place trim in places that we don't have trim. So around our windows is a good place to start. This one already has trim, mostly because we placed it here already. And we don't have any windows on the back. So now we'll go on the inside and spice up the windows a little bit. Which for this, I usually like to start with the vertical beam just because it's easier to follow. But we're going to do the same thing that we did with the roof beams. Just get it as close as you can, or as you can there, and then we'll do 1 meter beams. And you kind of want it to look like it's roughly in the middle, which that one's not. So like I said, you kind of want to get it like perfect, and if you get weird about it like me, it could take you a few tries. Still a little off. So if you're kind of struggling with that, oh, just flew out the window. If you're struggling with that, then we can switch to using the horizontal and see how close we can get with that. That actually doesn't look terribly bad. We'll keep that. And then we'll place a 1 meter. Actually, before we do that, we're gonna place shutters. And I guess you don't unlock shutters until the Bronze Age, but it's still, I don't know, this could still count as a starter house. So we'll open these shutters up, and then we'll place a 1 meter beam. So usually I would do something like this, use the dark wood arch or something like that, but we don't have that unlocked. I'm pretty sure you don't unlock that until whatever the biome is that has those annoying goblin guys. But yeah, so instead of placing those, we're gonna go 1 meter in the middle here, and we'll go 1 meter there, and we're just gonna place a cross shape here. And we're gonna do the same basically to all these windows. And if you want to make it easy, actually that's not gonna work. Usually you would be able to follow the path of your beams, but this one's too far over. Looks pretty good. There we go. And we forgot our shutters, so we're gonna have to go do that from the outside instead of the inside. And we have one more window, so we'll go ahead and just place these right away. And that's, oh, that cross design, it's pretty cool for like right at the beginning of the game kind of thing. Like I said, I usually like using those arches, or even better, I like using these dividers, but we don't have any of that stuff yet, so we'll have to just deal with it. And beginning of the game, crosses from the inside, but we'll make it look better from the outside real quick. We can go ahead and break these. We'll place a floor here in a second. So yeah, it doesn't look too bad, but we'll place 4 meters, or 4 1 meter beams. We'll do 26-degree roof ridge, and if anybody's watching that's watched any of my videos before, this is a pretty useful design. I use it quite a bit. Just do wood floors at the bottom and a roof on top, and it looks pretty sweet. Do the same thing over here. There we go. That looks pretty cool. Not so bad. And we'll get some design on the outside going, but let's do some interior stuff first. Let's break these. And this is our fireplace, and we'll place a beam right here just to show where that's gonna start. So we can go ahead and place those, and we can get started on our floor. So we can place a floor like that, break this beam, let the doors on so we can get in easier, and we'll do the classic floor that we can alternate. It's a pretty good design for right at the beginning of the game. Actually, throughout basically the whole time you're playing, this is a pretty good design. You just rotate the floor to the opposite direction. Yeah, it looks pretty good so far. Alright, so we have our floor. Let's put down our fireplace. And before we do that, actually, let's do a half wall right there with a beam. Oh yeah, that looks nice. Some furniture and no, miscellaneous fireplace. And what do we want for, we'll probably do a cooking station. I was gonna put a cauldron down, but yeah, that looks pretty cool. A lot of depth there. I'm gonna do something a little silly. Let's add a item stand. I always have trouble finding that. Do an item stand, try to get it as close to the middle as we can. I don't know what this is gonna do. We're just gonna add a fish. We're gonna add a little fishy. We'll add that to the item stand. There we go. Now we have it doesn't look like it's in the middle though, so we can fix that. We'll fix that. So we need to move that a little bit to the right. Let's see what it looks like there. This will be the fishing hut. Yeah, that looks like it's more in the middle, I'd say. I like the little fish on the item stand. It looks nice. Alright. I forget what we were doing. What are we doing here? So we added these. We need to design the outside of the house a little bit better. So for that, we're just gonna place some beams like this. Go all the way around the house. We also need to finish designing our fireplace as well. Alright. And now that we did that, I'm gonna try to do like a box those out a little bit. It's gonna be a little goofy. We'll see if this works first. If it doesn't, no. Okay, we're not gonna do that. We'll just place them on the inside. This is some classic designing or like detailing for Valheim. This is some old school Valheim detailing right here. You can see even just adding that, it's pretty cool. I mean, it's not anything crazy, but better than nothing. I think we'll add, just because we added wood shutters, we'll add a couple torches if we're in the copper/tin age. So I had a torch there, kind of had it in the middle a little bit. Say for a starter base, it doesn't really look too terribly bad. Alright, so now we can do some interior design. Alright. So you can see on the inside, like, these roofs kind of stick out a little bit, but that's okay. It doesn't really affect too much, and honestly, it doesn't look so bad. Same with up here. This roof kind of sticks out. But I would rather have it stick out inside than have that gap on the top. Because if you close this gap in, it just looks really nice. So, yeah. I don't know. I think that's a pretty cool start for a starter home, I guess, for design. Yeah, so for layout, we could do, let's see. I'd probably do my crafting along this wall, just because there's more space to put upgrades. And then I would do the bed probably along this wall. And I'd do some little storage along this wall here. And this is actually pretty easy because we can go something like that. So yeah, I mean, 8 chests, it's not a lot, but it's nothing to be like, oh, it's not enough chest kind of deal, you know. I feel like it's a fair amount of chests. Honestly, I'm kind of thinking about starting on the advanced one. There's not, I mean, besides doing interior, there's not really much else that I would do to this as a starter base, just because you're gonna move out of it soon. So yeah, we might just keep that. We might do something like a trail or something coming out. And then we might build some like stairs coming down and do like a deck or something for a ship, for like a small ship. But yeah, I'd say for a starter base, it's not looking so bad. But we can work on some more advanced stuff. We'll go back up to our area that we were building, and we'll work on some more maybe advanced walls and stuff like that. Yeah. let's work up here. Actually, we'll work up here. We'll get rid of our box house up here. We'll get rid of that guy. And we're gonna do a wall that has ash wood. We'll just do some walls for a little bit. So we'll go 6 across. Go 6 across, and we'll start with going 1 up, and then we will go, let's see, we'll go 5 across. And we'll start off with some ashwood arches. Where is that at? Yes, we want this arch. And this is going to be the front of the wall. And we actually want to do 1 less. So 4 across. Ashwood arch. Alright, so this wall is going to be 4 across, and it will be, this will be the outside here. And if we come to the inside part of the wall, we can grab our beams and drag them across. And these ones will bring all the way up and across. And for the inside, we're going to use regular wood, and we want to place some windows. This is going to be a little bit more of, I don't know, I wouldn't say like advanced wall, but better than beginner wall. And we'll place trim, and we're going to use ashwood trim. And you can already tell that that looks pretty sweet, right? That looks pretty cool. But now if we add our little beams, and I usually like to place them coming to the outside like this. But we'll see how it looks. We might have to change it up a little bit, but we'll place these coming up. And then we're going to use our ashwood quarter walls. You see, that looks pretty cool. We're just gonna do some wall practice here. Before we get into building our next house. And you can kind of see where I messed this one up. See, usually I wouldn't place these here. I would wait till after I place these beams, and then I would place the ashwood arches on the beam here. Like that. And it doesn't look terrible like that. But now we have an extra layer where we don't really need one. And then we can come through and we can place this beam lower than the one that we placed there to make a little step. And we can do little shelves here, especially if we place these ashwood arched walls at the bottom of these. I mean, they're barely noticeable, but when you do notice them, it's just a little extra nice detail. And then on these ones, we can come to the inside, and this is where we'll use our dividers. This one's a little harder to do just because it's dark back here, but doesn't look so bad. Then we can drag that across. That way we don't have to do that again. Break the middle one. And then place these decorative walls. There we go. Have something looking like that. We forgot our floors here. And then we'd probably want to do furniture. Something like that. Building. We'll place these arch walls back here. And actually, we could hide these a little bit better, but for now, we don't really need to. We're just doing some practice. Yeah. So it would be something like this usually, which looks pretty sweet. We could do one with a foundation as well. By the way, if you guys ever want to do like creative building instead of just regular building, I would highly recommend using Mod Manager, Thunderstorm Mod Manager, and then doing like the Infinity Hammer and Plan Build. Really nice for doing creative mode building like this. I mean, you kind of can do creative mode building already, like in base game, just by using like hammer mode, but you can't really do like terrain manipulation and stuff like that. Okay. So let's do a wall that has a foundation on it. And we'll just do We'll just do a stone foundation. We'll just do one that's 3 wide for now. We'll start off by boxing it out. We'll use ash wood. And these get a little goofy because you can see that there's like a whole meter right here that can be used. So usually I'll take this coming out here, place this coming down, and we will place coming across as well. So now, since there's a meter here, instead of 3 across, we'll do 4, and the 4th meter will be all wood. Or 4th beam will be all wood. So we can go ahead and bring this up. And we'll go too high. So let's see what we got going. We'll start off with our ash wood. So we have something looking like this here, which is pretty cool. And then on the outsides, that's where we'll place our ash wood arches. Do a beam in the middle. You see this is kind of a tall wall, but this is for more like if you have a foundation going, right? So it is going to be a little bit taller in general. We can go ahead and box this out too, just to make detailing a little bit easier. I'm kind of debating on turning this into an entryway just so we can show like what a roof would look like. Let's do that. So we'll go heavy building, and we'll do something like this. We can go ahead and break that here. We need our ash wood beams so that we can put some trim around. Placing trim is like super important for a lot of this stuff. Then we'll do don't really like that look there. We might have to get rid of these here, but we'll see how it looks. So you'd have stairs coming up, and then we're gonna have our door on our inside, but we're gonna use regular wood for the inside so that we can kind of offset like our colors a little bit between ash wood and regular wood, which is really nice to do. And we could just place this door here since we already have it offset, but we could also go 1 meter in which usually that's something that I would like to do. So let's just do that and see how it looks. And we're just kind of practicing some designs here, right? We're just seeing how things kind of go together. So we would place this door like that, and then we can come in with our quarter walls. And then we'd want to grab our ashwood arched wall. You might have to change your snapping point. And then we can come over with our 1x1s. That way our door is kind of inset by 1 meter, which that looks pretty nice. Then we can box out the trim with ashwood. And you see, we're just kind of changing the colors up a little bit. It makes it look pretty nice. And I don't like that there, but you can make it look a little bit better with your ashwood arched walls. Just like that. So it kind of looks like the arches of the door are still coming out a little bit, which is nice. So that'd be kind of like a little entryway that you could do. And if you wanted to, we can place that barn style roof, since we already have one extra beam here. So we would go 45 degrees. It should be 145 on each side and 126 degree on each side. So it'd be something like this, which looks pretty nice. It's like a little cottage style. And then we would do the same thing on the inside. And I'd like to do something a little bit weird here, but we're going to do the ashwood walls on the inside here and not the outside. And we'll place a half wall down here and a quarter wall right there. We can box it out. This way we're creating a little bit of a window. And now we have something looking like this, which is pretty freaking clean. Now we can, like this part here, it would just continue on with like a regular roof. So you would just be building your roof basically, and just pretend like this goes into something like this is an entryway for like a 5x5 or something, because we did 3 wide, so this would be an entryway for like a 5x5 or whatever, you know. And then we could place a little beam on top, kind of deal. And then to make it even better, we could follow this with beams on the outside like we've been doing to our starter bases, our starter base. Where's the 26 degree beam? Right there it is. And we want to make sure that's as close to the middle as possible. I don't really like that. And if anything, to make it a little bit easier, we can start with the beam in the middle and follow it the other way. That way you know you're directly in the middle and you don't have to mess around with it 100 times. So now we have it extruding a little bit like that, and we're going to make a little bit of a peak with our 26 degree beams. We'll roll it, change our snapping point to bottom, place a 1 meter beam coming out here, and boom, we have a little peak. That's a really clean looking entryway. I don't really like this part here, but there's many ways that we can change that. Like we can break this, break that, just place a stairway, which let's see how that looks real quick, because I hate this right here. So we'll break that and we'll just place our stairs just like this. That already looks a lot better. Go to building, we'll grab our 26 degree beams and we'll chase our stairs with those. You want to make sure that your snapping point is correct, and then you can follow that down into the ground, something like that. That looks a lot cleaner already. And we can place So something that I like to do, it's a little trick. We're gonna create some lanterns. And place these beams like this. I'm gonna place one more beam up. Break these two half ones. Too tall. So we'll come a meter out. Place our arched walls on the bottom. Go to furniture, grab our wall lanterns. Grab our wall lanterns and then come directly out. Just like that. And you see it's kind of hidden. You can't see that brass part that sticks out, but the lanterns look okay. It is kind of a goofy spot. Usually I try to clean it up a little bit, make it a little bit higher, but for what it is, it's not really that bad. We might try to do some more wall practice. I might even try to do a little tower. I don't know yet. Alright, we're back. Okay. So you can see how something like this, if we're leading into like a bigger, like over here how we have our 5x5 and just kind of a short entryway, you can kind of see how something like this would look good. Say if we had, I'd usually want to do 3 coming out right here so that we could do a window in the middle. But you know, something like that, and then a bigger roof on top, maybe a tower over here or a deck like we showed earlier, which is pretty cool. 1 second. Alright, let's go. Let's see where we're at here. Sorry, I'm just checking settings real quick. Yo, if you guys are watching, somebody, like for real, somebody in the chat should like just say hi or something so I can make sure that this stuff is working out. I would like to do a longer stream tonight, but I don't want to. I want to just make sure it's working right, you know what I mean? See, we have a few people watching, but I just want to make sure this stuff's working. It keeps telling me I have like a chat rate in OBS, but my YouTube isn't popping anything up. So I don't know if I messed it up somehow or what. It's like my third. This is like my third stream, so I'm still trying to get used to doing the settings on this stuff. I think it's on, but I don't really know. Oh well, whatever. We'll just keep building. It's alright. Yeah. I don't remember what we were talking about, but I think, yeah, this entryway, if we had a wall coming up here, we could do... Usually I'd want to match the level. Okay, see, it's telling me I have a chat rate. God, that's gonna annoy me. I wonder if the pop out on if I needed to pop out the OBS chat. Yeah, sorry, I gotta look this stuff up because turning into an old man, I don't really know how to do this stuff. Let's see. Yeah, sorry this is taking a minute. I'm still pretty new to this stuff. Okay, whatever. Alright, so we'd come up something like this, and then we can drag the beams across. It looks like we're 1 meter higher. So yeah, you can kind of see it's like inset by 1 or offset by 1, and then I'd probably do ashwood walls here, and then just do like a bigger barn style roof here. So like we would, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I think it's already offset by 1 here, so we should be able to do the regular roof without it turning into a cross. And it is going to be too tall. Like if you try to do this roof all the way down, it's going to be tall, so you'd have to do some sort of supports to not make it break. And for something like this, I'd usually do like a 45, a 26, and then another 45, and then a 26, something looking like that. Looked kind of weird, but it's alright. But yeah, you can see that it's already turning red, so you would have to add some sort of supports like iron beams, which that's pretty easy. We can go to heavy building. Is it in heavy building? It might be regular building. Yeah, regular building. We'll just hide some iron beams in here. And by the time that you reach ash wood, you should be having iron beams unlocked. And then we'd just finish it off with 26-degree beams. So we'd have something looking like that, and it would go all the way back, and then we'd have some sort of like we did over here to this roof, something like this, like a pop out, or we'd do something simple like this roof here and do a pop out like that, and probably a little bit bigger since this roof is bigger, or we could do like a tower here, just anything, but it's pretty much how it would look. I kind of want to, we could finish off this wall just to show what it would look like, but we'd do ash wood basically all the way. And we have a foundation, so we might as well keep the foundation going. Go to heavy build. We'll keep this going all along the edge. And place some trim around it. And same thing, we would do the walls on the inside part instead of the outside. It is kind of a pain when you start doing them like this, but we'd probably do a box out like this. Actually, no. We want it to go on the inside here. So 1 meter here. And then these will face the outside. See, we're just kind of freestyling it too. Usually it'd be a little bit more organized, but this is basically how I like to practice, is just kind of practice like a certain wall style first and then see if it comes together. And then if it does, that's what I'll base like my next build off of pretty much. So now we can do our ashwood walls on the inside, but we want windows right here and right here. And this roof, it's kind of goofy, but this roof, we're gonna pop out by 1 meter like we did with this other one. And that way our beams here are gonna line up, you know what I'm saying? They're gonna line up with the roof and not be like sticking out like a sore thumb basically. And that way we can add a little bit of, we'll add like, here, I'll just do it right now. We'll add 26-degree roof kind of coming in right here on the other side. We can bring this across. And then we'll use just our regular quarter walls to come up. And cover this up. Then place trim around our windows, which we should have probably used regular wood on the insides here, which we'll swap. We'll actually do that right now because we're trying to make sure that we don't use the same colors over and over again. So we'll do regular wood windows right there. And same thing on the other side. And then ash wood for the trim on the windows. Suppose we should probably finish out those corners. And we'll have to go back through and place trim as well. So we'll start with the tops, like that. That one's already got some. Do trim on the windows real quick. Yeah, so that's coming together pretty nice. And then we'll do the same thing to the other side here and place 26-degree roofs here. And then we'll place some 1-meter beams just like that. And do some arches. And this is where we'll hang some lanterns. Furniture. We want some lanterns. We can actually fix, because if I place this right now, it's gonna show the brass part a little bit, which I'm not really a fan of. But we can fix this by breaking the ones that we placed. Break these real quick. And then what we'll do is go to building, grab our ash wood, and we want it to snap to the inside part. So like this inside part, not the outside part. So then we'll have to bring another layer of wood across here. And then we could also bring these back one layer as well, but we don't have to worry about that right now. So then we bring this back, snap that, and we'll do that to all of the sides that we're going to place lanterns on. And now we should be able to place these. And place our lanterns. And for these, you're going to want them to snap or attached to the inside part, which is kind of a pain to do sometimes. And you see this part sticking out just a little bit. But these two in the middle are not. And we can fix this one by adding another layer of beams here, but honestly I'm not too worried about it. Just practicing, not really too worried about it. Because from far away and from like just walking in, you're not really going to notice it that much. So there we go, and now we can finish out the actual roof part. So we want 45s, and we'll just, for this, we'll place these first, and then we'll place the other roof part on the outside after that. It's a slow process. Like doing this in survival, it's a lot. Especially gathering all the materials and stuff. It takes a long time. Alright, regular walls. And for now, it's probably gonna look a little bit goofy, but you'll see it's gonna look real nice. All right, now we can come out by 1 meter. And this is where the real decoration comes in, is when you start doing stuff like this. That's probably gonna break. We'll see. And then we'll come across with our regular roof piece. $26, and you can kind of see that like ties it all in back here. This piece is sticking out, but once you do like more details on the side, you can hide that pretty easily. But it closes this part in, and on the outside, we're going to create a little window here. Actually, we'll see how it ends up after we start decorating it. So you'll start off with just your regular, let's see, where's the walls at? We'll start off with just regular walls. (26°), 45. then we'll have to use an inverted here. So if we go to our inverted roof pieces, I think we need a 45. You might have to do something like that, which is kind of janky, but it works, kind of. And then we'll do another 26 degree here. And a half wall should fit just right. So when we get to this spot, we're going to use another inverted piece. Well, hang on, let's finish this out real quick. We'll finish this out, and then we'll go inverted, and we're gonna make a little roof piece, right? Or like just a piece to kind of make a window. Looks kind of funky right now, but you'll see where we're going after here. Yeah, it's coming together pretty nice, I'd say. We'll do another 45. $26. And then we'll have to do the same exact thing. Where is the 45? Right there. We'll go, did we go a wall first? Yes, we did. I don't even know how I do not know how that snapped in there like that. We might have to bring a beam across. Which sometimes you gotta do some goofy stuff like that so you can get your snapping point. Yeah, just like that. Now you can break these two. Now we can place our walls. And we'll do something like that. All right. So now we can break these. We're gonna have to break these two, but I want to get that top set first. Place half walls. Actually, we might keep it like that. Do quarter walls up here. Yeah, we're gonna keep it like that. It's not a whole lot of work. Place the trim around it. And there we go. We have a really cool looking front. And that's, I don't even know how we started this. I think we were just doing wall practice, but we do want to place a peak around this just so that we have a little bit more depth at the top. So we'll switch our snapping point to bottom. And then we can place our 1 meter beam. And then we have a little peak, and we can go to furniture or miscellaneous, and we'll do a little wolf guy. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. You could also do a bird. The bird looks nice too, and it brings it to a little bit more of a peak as well. But yeah, anyway, I think I am going to probably end the stream there. So thank you guys for watching tonight. I hope that the stream went okay, but I'm gonna try to get a little bit better at getting the settings down and stuff like that so that I don't have to stop and look at them. But yeah, anyway, I will see you guys next time.